Example number 2. Solve and verify the following equation. 3 equals 1 plus p divided by 4. So what I want to do first is put a box around where my variable is. The variable is embedded in this term. Okay, so we have 3 terms here. We have 3, and on the other side of the equal sign, we have 1 term here and 1 term here. So I'm first just going to put a box around the term with the variable in it. So I want to isolate the term with the variable in it first. So I know that, and right here, this is a positive one. So we have 1 added to it. If I wanted to rewrite it, it would look like this. P over 4 plus 1. That might be in a form that makes a little bit more sense. So you're noticing that I'm lining up my equal sign here. Okay. So I'm going to subtract 1 from either side because we're going to do reverse BEDMAS. First we're going to do adding and subtracting, then multiplying and dividing, and then exponents, though there are no exponents in this one. So I'm going to subtract 1 from this side, subtract 1 from this side. Remember, this is an intermediary step that you don't need soon, just for right now. 3 minus 1 is going to be 2, equaling p over 4, because plus 1 minus 1 cancels out. Or it adds to 0, the sum is 0. So this right here is an equation that you have seen before. There's only 1 step left, and p is divided by 4, so we're going to multiply this side by 4, then we're going to multiply this side by 4. P times 4 divided by 4 is simply going to be p. 4 times 2 is 8, and p equals 8. Perfect. It would be worth just a little time saying, okay, p over 4 times 4. How does that equal p? I'm just going to step it out a little bit before we verify. What I'm saying is p over 4 times 4 over 1. Okay, so then we're here with 4p over 4. Another way that I can write it is 4 over 4 times p. When I take my trusty dusty calculator out, well, I know this, but 4 divided by 4 is 1. So I'm just left with p. There's nothing magical about, oh yeah, then you multiply by 4 and then it becomes p. Like, it's all very logical and sequential. So if ever you're kind of confused why something shakes down to just p or just q or just x, don't be afraid to ask us for a little bit of a explanation as to this, because this is actually pretty key. Okay, if you don't fully understand how p over 4 times 4 equals p, come and talk to one of us. Alright, let's verify. I have my left hand side and I have my right hand side. My left hand side is really easy. Usually the left hand side is chocked full of variables, but this time our right side is. So we have 1 plus p over 4, but I know that p is 8. So my next step is to substitute the 8 in for the p. 1 plus 8 divided by 4. Now 1 plus... Now when we're verifying, we want to use order of operations. We want to use BEDMAS as it is. So we do dividing first. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 1 plus 2 is 3. Woohoo! Left hand side equals right hand side. Awesome. On this video, let's just do one more. Even though in total we have 5 examples, that will be on another video. Solve and verify the equation x plus 1 divided by 5 equaling -2. So now you're going to be like, okay, so we're going to deal with our adding and subtracting first. No, we're not actually going to. We're going to actually deal with multiplication and dividing first, which is confusing. The easiest way to deal with fractions is multiplying everything through by the common denominator first to get it out of fractions. So if I picture this, the denominator on this -2 is just 1. The common denominator between 5 and 1 is just going to be 5. So first things first, we need to multiply through by the lowest common denominator. So I multiply this whole thing by 5, and I multiply this side by 5. What I get here, folks, is 5 over 5 times x plus 1 in brackets. 5 over 5 is just 1, so we're okay with that. Negative 10. So what I'm left with is x plus 1 equals negative 10. This is again just a one-step equation. We need to isolate that variable, so I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. X equals negative 11. Now let's verify it. The original equation states x plus 1 over 5, and the right-hand side is negative 2. I'm going to substitute in negative 11 for x. Negative 11 plus 1 over 5. So remember, we have to keep kind of our numerators and denominators as things that are in brackets. We have to think of it as things that are in brackets. So we must first simplify the numerator, which is going to be negative 10 over 5, which is simply negative 2. Woot woot! Left-hand side equals right-hand side. Now, I really like showing you this example because it goes back to the beginning of our notes. When solving equations with more than one step, rules can get fuzzy. Okay? So in general, we use the reverse of order operations. However, remember that the name of the game is isolating the variable in the easiest way possible. So sometimes it's going to be easier, especially when we have fractions, to multiply through by the lowest common denominator.